Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have, I believe, a ranked game, and it is a community cast for you guys between Cyborg and Zahir. And Cyborg is the person that we are following. He's the person, they're the person who submitted the replay, and a Major, going up against a Major General, which is always a little bit terrifying. Anything with that G at the end for a General, it's a very high rank, it's going to be a very skilled player. Now, Highway to Seoul is one of those maps that I really struggle on, particularly in the 1v1 opener sort of thing, because it's so wide. You have golf, you have echo, you have all this sort of stuff, so I'm really interested in the opener from Cyborg, because, well, Cyborg's a major, and yeah, I mean, there's always something more you can learn, right? So PH2 Tiger moving up here, and this is not too unexpected. It is pretty popular in what looks like a DGC DAC, so Dutch-German Core 2A4NL right there. Gepard A2s, Verkennings, stealth tanks. Very nice. Okay, so I am a little bit surprised. It looks like a light opener on the highway, and 1, 2, 3 helicopters from Zahir. This is a little bit rough. So Mi-17, W3W Sokol, that's going to be Baltic. You can tell because of the Polish Mi-17. And, oh, never mind, they're all Polish. Well, too used to Baltic, I suppose. I have not watched this ahead of time, by the way. I was told of a couple minor plot points by Cyborg, but I think Cyborg is ANKO, if I remember correctly, in the community, so ANKO should be relatively known to the bootcamp players and other people who see this who've played with or against ANKO before. Now, KWS getting a lot of fire coming in, but getting out decently okay, and I'd almost be, I don't know if I'd say happy to see this in the opener, but certainly thinking about maybe that gives an advantage. And the reason why is Charlie Golf is interesting. If you can get a, it's kind of like the ones on Punch Bowl, except Echo and Delta have a little bit lower value, but they're still sort of on the side, right? If you win the center highway, at least this is what I was told, and this is a different strategy from what Cyborg is doing, but what I was told is you win this highway, and the next thing you know, you can attack Golf from the side, you can attack Charlie from the side here, you can push Bravo if you want to, you can push Echo from the side. Delta and the highway, particularly the highway, control this map, or at least that's what I was informed of. But we have Sparrow Kronziarty and the Naito 90 Zahir, the Major General, so clearly he's doing something right, is really aggressive in Golf. PH2 Tiger, by the way, does have stealth. It's, yeah, good stealth. Really sneaky. So my guess is the Ito 90 lost vision, and that's why I didn't fire again. But KCT is sneaking up here, and keep in mind, this is something that's really good to do anytime you see these hedgerows, any sort of map, is just get your infantry, move up it as much as you can, and if you notice, the KCT have their follow turned off. Now the reason for that is the follow engages at 770 meters, that's farther than these guys want to be spotted. So you turn off the far away weapon, you keep the close ones on, and the Carl Gustav M2 on, and then you just go in there and fight. And I do have to say, this seems to be going pretty well for Cyborg so far. A couple of nice kills. The Tiger got out safe. AMX-13 FL-12s are very deadly versus infantry. And there's potentially a lot of punch for very minimal investment. With the Natra, with the FL-12, and an AMX pre sort of combating the early investment into Golf there. Ooh, maybe not. Let's see. Okay. 2 units of infantry, they are going to kill the Natra, just even if these guys weren't in the open, that's going to be pretty rough. But looking at the rest of the map, this seems decent. Yeah, I mean, there's a presence in Delta, there's a 2A4, there's a Martyr 2. Echo has been left kind of alone, and these Stutroopen are spotted. Now, this should give you a lot of information. These Stutroopen are pretty far into the woods. In order to be spotted, something with decent optics has to be somewhere nearby. My guess, that town right there, it is sort of the usual position, and no, I'm actually wrong. So the Ergozier could be closer up than that town. I wonder if they were in the town, if they would have been able to see the Stutroopen. I don't think so. But yeah, these guys are very, very close, and that's why they can see through the woods there, all the way in to Cyborg Stutroopen, right in that corner. That's going to be pretty nice, and particularly with the ATGM set up in the town and the Iroquois forward. Iroquois are anti-air as well. That position is going to be a bit of a hard one to bust. I might actually copy that later on. The next time I play this map in a 1v1 as Baltic, because there's a Pion behind, so you got a stealth tank, you got a KRKK for anti-infantry, you have a Spike here for anti-tank, and an Iroquois for anti-air, and still, I mean, they're elite infantry, don't underestimate that. We have 2 T-72 and 1 Wilkes coming up, and it looks like Zahir is going to be shifting into fighting in Delta after those engagements in Golf. the infantry here was cleared out, and the FL-12, I believe this is the same one, is still alive. So at least all that was lost really seems to have been a couple of militia. It could be quite a lot worse than that. And Corps Mariner are brutally effective. Some of the most killy, I guess if you want to say the gamey term for it, infantry in the entire game. And I mean, Milan 2 shooting on the Wilk, shooting on the BMP2s. I don't think they're really going to make that, because what's happening, I think, is they're firing, aiming and firing, and then losing line of sight. And the second you lose line of sight, keep in mind, ATGMs are guided. They need to have vision all the way to the target. If they don't have that, they won't be able to get the kill. So, yeah, well, I mean, close-up Panzergren 90, Panzerfaust 3s have 24 armor piercing, 70% accuracy, brutally effective secondaries. And I don't know, I guess I've done openers similar to this before. I've never really been satisfied with it, and if you look at why, I mean, there's not further forward in Echo, but it feels like you're spending so many points to cover a super wide area. So ANKO, if you see this, I'm just curious, is there anything that you would have done differently in the opener, other than what we've seen here? Because, I don't know, it could just be one of those hindsight things. Ranoko Yekri, of course, very, very powerful infantry as well, and 2-to-1 I think will definitely kill the Corps Mariner. It feels like you're in this same situation that I often find myself in on this map, where I'm just not as far forward as my opponent, and I'm not really sure why. So, I'm curious, do you think my assessment is good or bad on that? And if it's good, how would you fix it? And by the way, really nice Corps Mariner, holy cow. I expected them to lose a lot worse. They've actually killed one of the Ranoko, which at 35 points does match the price of the Corps Mariner, so everything else is gravy, especially if these guys get out of the engagement, can heal up, come back in. They've just paid for themselves, and I think the tactic here is a distraction, the PWI moving forward. And, I mean, it doesn't look like the Ranoko were chasing that time, but quite often they will. Ooh, nice. T-72 M1s, 2A4 is way bigger, way badder. The NL version is different than the German version, by the way. So, the standard 2A4, 130 points. A little bit weaker gun. I want to say a little bit weaker armor, I don't quite remember off the top of my head. The 2A4 NL is very, very powerful for the price tag. It's generally considered, I think, one of the better, not true super heavies, but certainly, I think calling it a standard heavy tank is definitely doing it a disservice. And this is very nice. So, damaged Corps Mariner out, fresh Corps Mariner in. Ranoko Yekri do not want to be in that fight at all. And if we could get, I mean, if there was one kill, oh, that's a nice angle. That is beautiful. Look at that. Corps Mariner's chasing out, Ranoko has to retreat out, FL-12. Gets the kill there. Very nice stuff. Another 35 points. And what was a pretty scary situation over in Gulf has at least been handled cost effectively, which is the name of the game, especially when you're playing against someone who is evidently very, very good at the game. So W3W Sokol's coming over, and these guys, I'm almost happy to see them over here if I'm Cyborg right now, if I'm ANKO. Not really sure whether to say Cyborg or ANKO. I'm going to go with Cyborg just because it's the name here. Just keep in mind, if you do know ANKO, yeah, they're the same person. So, I'd almost be happy to see that just because they don't have ATGMs. Yeah, they have rocket pods, but that really only discourages helicopters and infantry, right? Well, the rocket pods won't discourage helicopters, but Iglas will, and particularly cost-effective Iglas, but they're landed. Oh, that's so good. No, come on. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Oh, that's too bad. That could have been really amazing. So, these guys went in to land to protect themselves from anti-air. The FL-12 got some shots on. Just barely not enough of a hit. Down to 1 strength on that Sokol. It's pretty nice. Yeah, fair enough. I guess the worry is that a lot of stuff is moving over here. And I don't really play Dutch-German Corps a lot. I know that the Dutch part of it doesn't really contribute that much by way of effective frontline anti-air. Well, I mean, you have man pads, you have a couple of nice anti-plane pieces, but I think that's pretty much it. Or at least that's my understanding of it. Well, I guess that's armored. Well, cheetahs aren't very good, Gepards tend to be better, but Gepards are an awkward price here. Yeah, there needs to be some sort of anti-air over there, but how do you protect it, right? And, I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch. Definitely a bit of a stretch. There's the, I think, surviving M1 Wilk, and this could be a very nice engagement indeed. So the 2A4 can definitely beat this guy, 90-point Wilk, and 15 armor is not enough to handle the 21 AP on that 2A4's main gun. But it looks like Zahir's feeling reasonably comfortable, so going in for Kaplan Charlie, getting that +1 tick. Keep in mind, maps with only +1 zones, a +1 tick for a while can get you a lot of traction, a lot of ground. So that has to be answered, and it's not right away by the look of it. There's a roll in 3 call out. KWS has been repaired. Oh, never mind. I was a little wrong on that. Looks like quite a fair amount of points being bought at the same time by cyborg here. So you have the Flux, you have the roll in 3, you have some Nasra by the look of it, the Amex Priest, and I like this a lot. So a lot of times people will buy super heavy after super heavy after super heavy and no chaff, nothing to go ahead of it. Ooh, okay. That should be fine. And because they have nothing to go ahead of it, the super heavies take damage first in that engagement, and that is a recipe for disaster, because what'll happen is all the tank shells go in, something will get a crit, maybe you get a weapons jam, and you can't fire anymore, or you just get panicked, you're not as effective. If you have just bodies, and the MX Pre, by the way, 3 frontal armor value is very resilient for 5 points. You have those out in front, and the next thing you know, you have a combat capable system. You have units that are designed to take punches and not really be that important, and you have a unit that can really give back a lot of power. And yeah, okay, this is the result of the no anti-air over in Golf. But when would you have bought it is the question. I know the roll in 3 is going there now. Had it been there a little bit before, maybe, but we still might get a nice shot on. If that roll in 3 can take out a Sokol, that's good. Oh no. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that really hurts. KWS, 140 points. Now this is no longer worth it. So I do have to question that dive a little bit. Going for the MI-17 is all well and good until you throw 140 points after 30. So that certainly is a little bit rough. And keep in mind, now there's no recon over here. The Core Mariners might well get just jumped on by an MI-17 or a Sokol. So that's a little bit risky, but this could make up for it. 2A1 shooting in. No. Oh man. Almost. Okay, so the Natra did go where I expected. Recanning, looking at that Pion, the Pion's a little bit heavier. At 10 points more expensive, that is sort of what you expect. And because that thing's in the woods and this Recanning's out in the open, it looks like the Pion can't actually shoot in. Second shot, there it is. That really sucks. That really sucks. M1 mod is heavier than the 2A4. Side shots can still do good work here. This position is really tough, and we missed it a little bit early in the replay, but the Red 4 player did retake that town on the left, so things are starting to slide just a little bit, I think, against Cyborg here, and that despite a couple of really nice early game trades that definitely felt like there was a lot of good going on in this game. So that's a bit of a rough feeling. But more Core Mariner over here. They are clearing out Yekri. They should be able to reestablish some vision, even if they're not recon infantry. Generally, their optics are still medium, so keep in mind, a lot of the cheaper vehicles, a lot of the cheaper tanks that you buy will have bad optics or poor optics. They really can't see much of anything. Most infantry, I think short of a couple of militia, tend to have either good or very, I guess, medium upward optics. So Panzer 90 at medium, Milan 2 at medium. Just gives them a bit more spotting easy for me to say, distance. Just imagine it as infantry binoculars, things like that. And it's not dedicated for it, but it certainly is better than trying to look out of a small viewport on a heavily armored old vehicle, right? So I guess that gets some worth. And Core Mariners, goodness gracious, I need to try these guys. Double MiG. Interesting, that's a lot of points in the air. Of course, the Finnish MiG, often referred to as the meme MiG, is referred to that for a reason. So if you look at double Vimpel fire and forget missiles, they ripple fire, so they have 1, 2, no time in between. They only have 2, right? So a single one of these isn't a guaranteed kill. You have 60% accuracy, 60% stabilizer, only 2 missiles, and against planes with 50% ECM, that is a 30% chance per missile for a hit. And if you need 2 hits to kill, then the odds of getting that are relatively small. But with 2 of them, those odds go up quite a bit. So you have 4 missiles, 30% chance to hit each. I'm not going to do the math quite in my head right now. I don't really feel like it with the game going on in the background here. But yeah, your odds certainly go up. One could even say that they double, firing twice as many missiles. I don't know if I'd say that they double, but you could, if you wanted to, say that they double. My question is, where is Zahir hiding his weakness? And what I mean by that is, with so many points in the air, with the bad trades in Golf earlier, actually that looks like it was just a kill on the Iroquois Yekri on this side. If you ever feel like your opponent has more points than you everywhere, odds are that that's not necessarily the case. Now, we are 17 minutes in. There's been a fair amount of income so far in this game. But even then, I mean, there's a lot of expensive units, and there's a lot of expensive dead units now for the Red 4 player here. So it does kind of make me wonder where that is that it's not really being put to good use. It could be an ANKO, but there might have only been a token force over in that town, and it certainly would be nice to see an ANKO cap, but that is difficult as well, because if there's a recon tank in the woods between Delta and Echo, if there's infantry here, probably recon there, you're going to be observed going in, and that's probably why Cyborg hasn't yet bought a command vehicle or command infantry for Echo, because all of this is very sparse hedgerow, and the sparse hedgerow is not the best for hiding, and you can go into it and then walk through it, and if you're lucky, people might not see you, but it certainly is a risk. Oh man, KCT versus KTs. Yeah, that's a little rough. These guys, Carl Gustav M2, kind of wish they had the M3 to be honest, but 30 points for elite recon is, I guess, balance. Yeah, nothing too crazy bad. Oh, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 400 points of tanks. My goodness gracious. I really wish there were 3 and 10 units of reservists just to draw fire on things. Because if things shoot, they'll be spotted. And that right there, look at that. So, I mean, down to 3, but that was probably a 90-point Wilk, which makes up for it just a bit. Yeah, that looks like the 90-point M1 Wilk. Yeah. I guess that could be worse. Could be worse indeed, but double stack of Panzer Yekri 90, and these guys, Panzer Yekri 90 don't see a ton of play, I think, for most multiplayers, but this is not Moto, this is standard, and Panzer Yekri 90 offer very powerful anti-tank options for shock infantry, granted 25 points, but still, Golf cap now from Zahir, and that does counteract the Delta cap, which itself is a little bit shaky, because Delta is not fully controlled by Cyborg, so at any time, if Zahir wanted to, Zahir could probably put a command vehicle in the back part of Delta and counter that and go up to a +2, and every +1 is 150 points a minute. You play to 500, so you can do the math on that pretty easy. +2 is 300 points every 10 minutes. So you win the game very quickly with the +2. I was told recently by the Mint Jellyman himself, who has been teaching me. He's a very, very skilled player, that +1s, oftentimes you can ignore them for a little bit. A +2 you should pretty much never ignore, because if you do, you're going to end up looking over on your right and it's nearly unrecoverable. Keep in mind, 450 or so points, and your opponent can no longer lose. The worst that can happen to them is a tie. In other words, the best that can happen for you is a tie. So keeping your opponent from that is pretty essential if you want to have a really good game, and I don't know, I didn't think that Zahir was trading all that well so far. I wish sometimes you could look at the kills and losses for a Conquest game as the game goes on, because knowing that information, it's part of the information you get in Destruction and Economy, actually, both the other modes. It's not a whole optical failure. Nice, 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 nice. Not so nice. I thought for a second that Martyr 2 was going to be getting a free recon tank for the price. But knowing how much your opponent has lost for sure is a very powerful piece of information, and you can sort of guess. The more... Oh, beautiful. That is a dead super heavy right there. 2A4, I think, getting a side shot on it. Sorry, oh, what the 2A1s? I'm sorry we didn't quite get that on the cast. It's one of the detriments of not viewing this beforehand, and this is possibly effective, but very rude. Oh, nice Verkenning. Beautiful timing on the Verkenning. Called into a different location, but if that wasn't there, those KCT would be dying in vain just to a couple of KTs. Now, since the nerf, this got a little bit less cost effective, 20 points per vehicle instead of 15, and that was changed back when South Africa came out. So I guess it's old now. It was relatively new when I started really playing this in earnest. Double pave. Oh wow, 23 AP power, 14 frontal armor. I like the pave, frankly. I quite enjoy it. And it looks like these are up-vetted Veteran C3 in general. DAC here, so it should be, I think, 4 availability. And calling them out in 2 stacks is something I've had recommended to me. Nice follow-up with the RD as well. 2A4 on life support, double 2A1, both of them panicked. Not going to be very effective, and that's important, because with 18 AP power, the 120 point pave with 14 frontal armor is going to take a lot of damage, particularly at close range if these Leopard 2A1s get their guns online, but the paves, oh, weapons jam, nice. Stu Trooping are amazing, amazing, amazing. If that second shot had hit, this could potentially have been a very different game from this point out, just because 120 points lost on the ground right after losing the super heavy in the corner of woods there is a very heavy price to pay. Echo has been capped now. I'm a little worried about the infantry in that section because I think they do exist, but an AMX-13 FL-12 will zone that out reasonably well. You have line of sight from the high ground up over all of this open area. Something moves across, you will spot it, you will be able to shoot it. Should work out just fine. So another mod, more paves. This guy likes his super heavies. I might actually grab his Baltic deck, because here's Baltic deck after the game, because I've always wanted to play Baltic on its own. I really haven't been able to. I always just play Finland. But Finland is a very different deck. You have fewer tools, I would say, is probably a fair assessment there. And every Baltic deck I've made, even Moto, leans very heavily on Finland, so sometimes you can get away with it. Nice seed plane there from Zahir. But not all the time. And I don't know, people like the 90-point Wilk. I don't tend to. It's been amazing how few infantrymen both of these players have been using. And that's the major, but it's also the major general, because most of the time you see a lot of infantry everywhere. They help you pad out a lot of the front line if you have cheap Natra spread from here to Kingdom Come. I mean, it's a way to have a lot of units on the board. And I don't know if that's always a good thing, but it tends to be very reassuring. It can dampen, ooh man, for Kenning versus Pion. Yeah, I mean 75 points, 10 frontal armor, 17 AP, 8 frontal armor, 15 AP. The Pion is much more powerful and not that much more expensive. I really gotta say, one of the highlight units for Finland, I think, definitely. If you do enjoy playing Finland or Baltic, even in Baltic Moto, where you do still get that recon tank, it is so good. It is so good. The M84AN is probably better, but I don't know if it's better point for point, because that tank is 110 as opposed to the 75 of the Pion. That is something looking for a target. Already has it in mind, already spotted, probably up from the high ground tier. Evac Winchester, that's a bomb, never mind. And Mancot 1's gonna be not long for this world. Yeah. It's 30 points, and it stops the resupply, right? So that for Kenning, not able to heal itself. And finally, we do have KCT moving forward. Nice dodge on the bombs there from that Red 4 player, and now is the time. Go back forward. Come on, go back forward. Go back forward. There we are. There we are. KCT are very fast, and these guys can make it to that town incredibly quickly, way quicker than you might expect. This could be huge. This could be really good. If there's pressure now into Bravo, that's a way for Cyborg back in the game. It's only 89 points ahead for Zahir, which is not even 10 minutes. That's, 7 minutes, 6.5 minutes worth of +1 tick. There's twice that left in the match. So if there's any pressure on Bravo, one, that threatens the land reinforcement zone, so Zahir has to react, and that buys some time for Golf. I guess my only concern is, as this game's gone on, that front line has become even more tenuous, where previously there were units up farther in Delta, now they're not. Seedplane coming in again, second Gepard A2 pickup, that really has to hurt. That's a lot of points lost, the double Gepard A2. 22 M4 now paying for himself as well, so 100 points for that plane, at least 120, 130 points in kills on the ground, and the MiG's just making it impossible to fly any sort of air combat mission against these guys. Yeah, man, that is rough. That is rough indeed. But the reason I'm concerned with Delta being pushed back a bit is, and hold on here, let me just get readjusted for just a moment. I hope it's not too loud. Ooh, chair creaks and all that. The reason I'm worried about it is, as I said earlier, if Delta's countercapped, there's a +1 again, and there's a lot more work that needs to be done here from Cyborg to get a toehold, although Panzer 90 are a nice way of doing that, and all you really need to clear is these woods, and then you can still get a countercap. It'll be hard to defend, but not impossible, so that could also be another way into a +1 double pave doing work. Holy cow, 23 AP, fired twice, I guess will kill pretty much anything very quickly. But with these Natras dying, it's just the 2A4, the Fuchs Fufu. I know it's not actually pronounced Fufu, I just don't really know how to pronounce that with the, what is that, an umlau? The double dot above the U. There's a fellow who watches my videos decently often by the name of Wagner, and he's always correcting me on things for that, and I would appreciate it if you do watch this. How the heck are you supposed to pronounce that? Last time I think I did an okay job at trying to pronounce things better. It was quite a while ago now, but yeah, always happy, always interested to hear more about it. Hawk 51, this guy will dive a tiger, and if you see it damaged, that is a pretty effective kill. It was a little bit goofy. We saw the tiger previously kill Eriko's Yekri, and that should not usually happen, but some nice revenge there for Zahir. Really unfortunate loss for Cyborg. Of course, the Hawk is only 60 points, and I don't always dive helicopters with it because it's not guaranteed, but if they're damaged, yeah. Yeah, if they're damaged and they're high value, yeah, send a Hawk. Because even if you can't deal 6 damage, 8 damage in one run, you can deal 3 or 4 pretty darn reliably. So that's still most of a kill, and I have to wonder if Zahir's just being cagey in order to build something up. So we have BMP2s, we have KRKK, we have the M1 mod, and decent enough smoke micro. I'm kind of surprised the mod isn't pulled back a bit farther, but I think this is a big distraction. So MI-24W, that I believe, yeah, 85 points, 8 Kokon Sackless missiles is pretty potent, especially when there isn't much anti-air over here. The MX-13s will die very quickly to that, and the MI-17 with the stun, allowing that MI-24W to shoot a second shot. ITO-90's busted, good unit. Well, I don't know about busted. Very good unit, solid unit, that's for sure. That's interesting. 7 frontal armor versus the 20 AP power heat from the Kokon. I thought that Martyr 2 would be dead in one shot, but yeah, I guess sometimes you get lucky, or maybe that's just how the damage tables work out. I don't quite have them memorized yet. Working on that. But there's a lot of different brackets, so it does sort of take a bit of doing. Yeah, a little bit of anti-air on the ground, and ooh, okay, that's risky. Here's the double wing move. This is what I meant earlier. Watch the missiles come out of these guys. So we have 1 away and 2 away. Yeah, so okay, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. That's just so brutal. Down goes the KWS. Rough stuff there, man. 2 of these guys, pretty guaranteed kill on most planes. Yeah. Of course, it costs you 250 points to do it, right? Each one's 125 points. It's not cheap. But you start killing KWSs, you start killing bombers, and you can make your points back very quickly. The only issue is they're not dual purpose, which if that plane was dual purpose for 10 points more, I still think it would be very, very good. If, say, you had a couple of shorter range anti-helicopter missiles you could use as well, although that might be... There already are good helicopter divers. There's a 90.1 MiG-21 BIS, I believe, for Finland, so it's already sort of there, but in the air tab you end up with the slots mattering a lot because they're so expensive in terms of activation points, where if you can get multi-roll, good multi-roll planes are just amazingly important. Okay, that's a stun, Syria coming in, and what is he looking for? Might be the Hios. I don't think so. That shouldn't really be spotted unless there's something on the ground. Evac ordered, turning out. Hawk Hios on, 1, 2. Oh, nice. Very nice kill. A little bit of revenge there against that seed plane that had gotten... Oh, yeah, okay. It was the Hios, and it's because of these Eriko's Yekri that it was spotted. So the Verkenning definitely needs to get a kill there. And I think this is... I really don't know. There's been so many high-value kills on both sides of this. I think Zahir might have a small edge, but I'm willing to say this is very much not a blowout. 7 minutes possible left in the game. It looks like we use about 6 of them, and I am curious why not 7. I guess the most one-sided value has been in the air with the MiGs taking out 2 KWSs. That's 280 points. It's pretty impactful, but that ITO-90 and MI-24W are both going to be gone here. Yeah. Oh, come on, hit. Come on, hit. Did that not get the kill? Oh, you're kidding me. Yeah, that ITO-90 got out. Oh man, that would feel really rough. That's a lot of points left there that should have been gone. I guess they are panicked. That is going to drop the accuracy quite a bit. These guys don't have the highest base accuracy. Just 40% is pretty bad, to be honest. But it's a 30-point recon tank, and one of the best ones in the game because of the fire rate. So keep them happy, keep them healthy, and they'll do well. But panics, that, yeah, fair enough. I guess I understand. I would have been upset about it at the time if it happened to me as well. But yeah, okay, fine. I guess I understand. By the way, one of the reasons I don't play Dutch German all that much is because I love good wheeled anti-air, like the ITO-90, and it just doesn't really seem to be existing as a popular choice, at least alone at all, in the deck here for Cyborg. So, you know, Hawk Hioses are great because you don't really need to micro them very much. But put that on wheels and charge me a bit more for it, and yeah, I'm game. But short of that, maybe not so much. Now, the other thing you have to watch out for is that Hakios' anti-plane AA in general tends to have really slow missiles. So we'll see if this guy gets within range and opens fire. Don't know if we will. Yep, there's the counter cap and Delta. Back to a +1. It's not a +2, but with 5 minutes left, this is a bit of an issue. Cyborg now needs a +2 in order to win, and their opponent is already ticking at +1 against. So that's a 3-point swing that needs to happen. Yeah, this is what I meant. Really slow missiles. We're at speed 1. That's not slow motion. That's what we got, right? So 3 shots, 1 hit, not really all that worth. And Zahir might even get revenge here. So the Hawk bombers coming in, missiles, well, bombs away. No, looking for the AMX-13. Yeah, it's probably going to get it too. 1 strength left on the AMX, and down he goes. Not much you can do about that, really. Yeah. I think the use of helicopters for mobile support really has been a nice asset for Zahir during this game. It's a lot of flexibility. It's expensive flexibility, but if you can bring that force to bear quickly and with good placement, it can be very powerful. Now, please, please, please get the Hios down. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Give me a good shot there on the Sokol and the Puma. There we go, that's 1. And come on, 2. Oh, it's risky. The reload on these guys is a little funky. If they fired their 3 and they had to rearm, it can be a bit of a long time. So if you fire 2, you rearm back to 3, you think to yourself, okay, well I have 3 shots before I need to deal with anything. That's not really true all the time. I don't really know if it's every single time you do that. It's a bit of a Eugen moment. Well, yeah. Okay, so T-72 M1 mod, double pave right here. Verkenning shooting in at them too, and doing a lot of damage. I think they weren't spotted until just then, and they'll take a lot in return, but only if the paves can hit. And yeah, they have high base accuracy, 70%, bad stabilizer, but it's really a shame that the Verkennings weren't quite able to get the kill there. They should get the Pion. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Yeah, stealth tanks. So good. Fire computer reset. Oh yeah, this is it. This is the moment. Chase that mod. That's the kill. 2A4 doing absolute work and still having time to turn. Probably not long for this world. Oh, really? Man, I've been loving watching this game. There's some nice plays in it, that's for sure. I like community casts, and if you guys do, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. I know everyone's tired of hearing about it, me included, but such is life. So, I definitely... Oh, come on. Chase the paves, chase the paves. Maybe not? Okay, that's a spike. That's an issue. Of course, you can counterfire that. The 2A1's doing that, the Verkenning's doing that, taking that guy out. If you suspect that a fragile team like that's in the area, don't even wait for him to fire. Just fire at position. Tank shells, usually they're kinetic, but they also are area of effect, so they have a little bit of splash. You don't need to hit to deal damage to infantry. You won't deal much. But if you just take these guys and you press T, you fire at position, and you put it right there on the town, you'll do a couple points of damage. You might give away your position, but that's a different consideration. So if you ever run into an ATGM where you know where it is, but you just can't get vision on it, keep in mind, you don't always have to. And, well, some ATGMs have just way longer range. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have way longer range allowed by recon, right? So if your opponent has bad recon, you can take advantage of that, and units can often fire farther than they can see. ATGMs are no exception. So take advantage of that, shoot in, get the quick, easy kill, even if it's just a little bit, I don't know. I've met some people who consider that cheesy. I don't consider it cheesy just because it does take a lot of micro to do. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. 25-40 kills for Zahir, 24-55 for Cyborg. Very close game, and that's not reflected on the conquest points, but it definitely did feel like there was a lot of cost-effective trading going on from Cyborg, just not quite enough to pull that back with the amount of time left, and that's going to be a surrender for the person who sent in the community cast, which is a first. I think that's the first time we've ever had somebody send in a game that they lost, but I'm really grateful to cyborg/ANKO for doing so. I think it was a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to comment on, and yeah, definitely just an interesting game. 2A4NL did amazing work. Look at that. Super heavy right there, pays for itself. Everything else is gravy, and we still have an M1 Wilk, KT, BMP2s, more KTs, 20 points apiece for that second mod. Oh my goodness. 165 points a kill, double Ranko Yekri 90. We definitely had the star player of the board right there with the Leopard 2A4NL. Core Mariners did well, and unfortunately a couple of units didn't. KWS not really doing well, either one of them, in the air, and that sort of cuts against the nice kills from the 284 when you're losing points like that on other places in the game. Tiger did decently well, but again, not returning on value. Eriko's Dekari and the KT don't make up for the cost of that unit, and it looks like that was sort of just how the game went. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.